Dimmitt, and I am in school just like you guys are. And for one of my assignments, I was asked to come into a classroom and talk about a big book and things about, all about the story and the book, okay? So that's what we're gonna do. Now, I talked to your teacher and she told me that you guys were talking about things on the farm, is that right?
Yeah.
So I found this book and it is called Sounds of the Farm. Sounds of the Farm. Now, if you were just looking at the picture only and you didn't know that that was the title of the book, could you tell what this book was going to be about? What do you think? Maybe some animals. What do you think?
Ducks.
It might be about ducks. Now, every story has a setting, and a setting is just where the story takes place, right? So if you were just looking at this picture, again, if you're just looking at it, you didn't know the title, would we know where this took place? Where would you think it would take place?
I see duckies.
All we see is ducks, right?
Yeah.
We don't know for sure where these ducks are, right? But Sounds of the Farm, where do you think this story is going to take place?
Farm.
At a farm, I would guess. So we are going to write down our setting. And our setting is where our story takes place. And we are going to guess or predict, which just means we're guessing, that it is on a farm. Okay, so I'm going to write that down and we are going to see if we are right. Okay?
And it's about sounds on the farm.
Well, that's what our title says, so we're going to see, okay? Okay, now, all stories have characters. That's who or what is in the story, right?
Yeah.
So who do you think is going to be in this story?
Ducks.
What do you think?
Maybe the farm.
Maybe farms. What do you think by looking at this story? Ducks. That's all we have to look at, right? We don't know if there's any others. There might be more characters in the book, right? But we won't know until we start the book. So I'm going to write down characters. And we're going to write down
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
ducks,
7,
because that we're pretty sure of, right? By the look of the cover.
yeah.
And we may have to add some more, but we don't know for sure yet, right? Okay. So this book has an author, and the author is who wrote the book, right? And this was written by Carrie Jensen Gold. It tells me that. Now, sometimes on the front cover, they'll also have the name of the illustrator. Does anybody know what an illustrator is? What do you think? It's the person who drew the pictures. Now, this book does not show me on the front that it is who the illustrator is, but it does tell me, if I look at this little bitty print over here, which you cannot see because I can barely see it, it says that it was illustrated by Laura Rader. And so she's the one that drew the pictures, okay?
Yeah, we
So
know the author and this big author.
yeah, an author and an illustrator, right? And sometimes in a story, the author is also the illustrator. It might not be two different people. Okay, now, what we also always have a subject. Before we get started reading, we always have a subject about, our story always has a subject, and that just means what it's about, right? So who could tell me what they think or predict this story is going to be about? What do you think? You think? What do you think?
I think it's going to be about farms and ducks.
Okay, and remember what our title said? Sounds of the Farm. So what do we think it might be about?
Sounds.
It might be the sounds that we hear on a farm, right? So let's write that down as our subject and we'll see if we're right, okay? Subject, we're gonna write sounds we hear on a farm. Okay, now let's get started reading our book.
It's one of woods.
And we're going to see if all of our predictions, our setting we think is going to be on a farm, our character, we think there's ducks in it, and our subject is sounds we'll hear on a farm. So let's see if we're right, okay? Let's get started. I'm going to kind of prop this up here to see if it'll help me because it's hard to hold on to that big book. Okay, whoops.
That's Baby Echo.
Here, may I borrow Baby Echo? Thank you. Sorry, baby. Okay, here we go. If you lived on a farm, what sounds would you hear coming from animals far and near?
Quack.
So right there on our very first page, what does it say? If you lived on a farm. So we know right away that we were right about our setting because we're on a farm, right?
Yeah.
So we were right. Who wakes us each morning with a cock-a-doodle-doo?
Rooster.
And who might be eager to join in with moo?
A rooster and a cow.
Oh my goodness, let's stop right there for just a second. Who can tell me by raising your hand which animal says cock-a-doodle-doo? What do you think?
The rooster.
The rooster says cock-a-doodle-doo.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
And which animal do you think that you see on this picture would say moo?
Cow.
Oh, I heard it, a cow. And we were already pretty sure that we're on a farm, but this picture here shows us that we're on a farm, right? We're out in the pasture with the cows, and we have a barn and some silos. So we're pretty sure we're on a farm, right? Now, there's one word before we continue reading that I just wonder if anybody knows what it means. And who might be eager to join in with moo? Eager. Well, that's a funny word. What does that mean, eager? Anybody have any idea what that means?
Cow.
It doesn't mean cow, but it does mean that you might be excited to do something. If you're eager, you're excited to do something. So it's asking who might be excited to join in with the moo.
Cow.
All right, let's continue on.
Ducky.
Who oinks and rolls in the mud all day long?
Pig.
Who honks their part of the animal song?
Duck.
Which animal that you see up here oinks?
Pig. Pig. A pig.
A pig oinks. And which one of the animals that you see honks? What do you think?
Duck. Duck.
It's a big goose, isn't it? He honks when he makes a sound. Now, who can tell me what they think an animal song is? Do animals sing?
No.
They don't sing?
Do they make sounds?
They do make sounds, and all of those sounds together on the farm make up kind of a little animal song, right?
Yeah.
Not a kind of song that we sing, but it's their own animal song. Which four-legged animal meows and will purr? And who might bow wow when you pet its fur? Which animal? Everybody quiet, say it quietly. Which animal meows?
Cat.
The cat. Which animal might bow wow at you? The dog. Good job. Look at those cute puppies.
I love them.
And look at the little kittens. Aren't they soft?
Oh, that's a tiger cat.
Yeah.
I have that. Me too.
All of these animals eat grass every day, but which is the one who will answer with neigh? A horse. Now, it tells me that all of these animals eat grass all day. Anybody have any idea what these are? Well, I think it's actually a burro or a donkey.
Cow.
They are related to a horse, and then we have a cow, and then we have our horse, right?
Yeah, the lady to 3 pictures.
Yeah.
And it's running.
Who gobbles, clucks, and peeps? So which one of those animals peeps?
A chicken.
The chicken. Which one gobbles?
Chick.
Which one gobble? We have
Turkey.
a turkey. I heard it. Good job. Which one goes cluck?
Chicken.
The chicken. Can you guys see that over there?
Actually, that's a hen.
It is a hen, you're right. You're right, it is a hen. Well, we saw a rooster on one of the other pages earlier. That is a hen.
Right now.
And which one says bah, duck, duckling, or sheep?
Sheep.
The sheep says bah. Bah. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Wait, those little ducks were in the.
Those are little ducklings, they're little baby ducks.
But they were back at the in the start.
Which two-horned animals bleats a neigh sound? Who quack as they gather their friends all around?
Duck, horse, and dog.
So which one of these animals that you see in the picture do you think makes that? That's a two-horned animal that says neigh.
I know. A
What do you think? A horse does say neigh, but also these goats kind of give a neigh sound as well. So they have horns and a horse doesn't, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them have horns.
You mean horses? What?
Horses don't have horns, but the goats do. No?
But some of the horses have horns.
Okay, so now this last page of our story is going to ask us, who says peep? Which one peeps, do you think? Just, you can say it out loud, just don't scream.
Chicky.
The little chickie. Which one quacks?
Duck.
The duck. Which one bow wows?
Dog.
Dog.
Bow wow.
Who oinks?
Pig.
Pig. And who clucks? The cluck. Well, who clucks? What do you think?
Chicken.
Probably the chicken. The chicken, they kind of do a clucking sound, right? Who moos?
The cow.
The cow moos. Who meows?
Cat.
The kitty cat. Who neighs?
Horse.
The horse. Who goes bah, bah?
Sheep.
The sheep. There they are down there. Who goes cock-a-doodle-doo?
Rooster.
There is a rooster.
Yeah, I see it.
That was a fun book. Okay, so we were sure that our setting was on a farm, were we right?
Yeah.
Yep. And our character, we just said ducks, but how many more characters were there?
Cow, horse, sheep.
There was lots we had, and it showed us at the end of our story, didn't it? It showed us all of these. We had a pig, we had goats, a little chicken, a little chickie, and some little ducklings, a cat.
No, that's a tiger cat.
Yep, it is a tiger cat. Hens, which were chickens, right? Our cow, our rooster, our puppy, our sheep, and our geese.
It's 12.
We had all kinds of characters in that story, didn't we?
It's 12.
And our subject was sounds we hear on a farm. Did we hear lots of sounds? We did. Now every story has an ending, and in this book, our ending was all of our sounds that the animals made, wasn't it?
Yeah. They love kitties.
You love kitties?
I love tigers.
Well, that was a really good book, wasn't it? And we got to hear all kinds of farm sounds. All right, boys and girls, thank you so much for letting me come in. Who can tell me one thing in the story that you learned? What did you learn?
I liked the ending.
You liked the ending with all of the animal sounds?
I like the tiger cat.
You liked the tiger cat? Yeah, what did you like?
100.
The little chick, they were cute. One more. What did you like?
Thailand cat.
You did?
I like the piggy.
Well, thank you, boys and girls, for letting me come in and reading our fun story about sounds on the farm. Have you guys been talking about farm animals?
Yeah.
How fun.
I like tiger cat.